Walk in the spot, yeah, I think I'm the man. I be dripped in designer, got racks in my pants. The way that she talking, I think she a fan. Girl, cut the small talk, make it clap for these bands. Babe, I'm a demon, don't care about your man. We could get on a flight in the sand, catch a tan. Keep me a gun, but I'm good with my hands. If you push for me, then your ass getting bland. Slow down, little boo, girl, you know I can't choose. See, you came with a friend, so I'm fucking her too. Play with the guys, you end up on the news. I might lose on my screws like you stepped on my shoes. Free up G Bando, can't wait till he loose. If you play, you a fool, black boy JB, he go against me, I don't think I could lose. Been on the ground selling weed up in school. I had a real bad, I was down on my ass. Wasn't getting no bread, I was too thirsty to blast. Oh, that's the option we got on his ass, so he thought it was dead, he ain't getting no pass. Now I pull up in the foreign, my passy a foreign, she clutching, I don't need a stash. I'm running red lights and I'm swerving, the slogan behind me, I'm hitting the floor with the gas. Walk in the spot, I don't pass off, they don't search me, they know that I got it. Wrestle a bag, got it all in 4 pockets. Hammer go blast, but I reach while you watch. She shaking her ass while I'm tossing this cash. Got a drive in the boat while she dance with me top. I gotta move smart, always 2 steps ahead in the club, moving tack. I got in with my knockers. Better luck playing the lotto, you push for me, put like 2 to his chest like he Rudy. She asked if I love her, I told her don't know what that mean, but we vibing cause you a little cute. She moving her hips as she flashing the smile right at me, turn around, let me slap on that booty. Walk in the spot with the gang, acting foolish. Leave it the gang, we gon' make it a movie. Walk in the spot, yeah, I think I'm the man. I be dripped in designer, got racks in my pants. The way that she talking, I think she a fan. Girl, cut the small talk, make it clap for these bands. Babe, I'm a demon, don't care about your man. We could get on a flight in the sand, catch a tan. Keep me a gun, but I'm good with my hands. If you push for me, then your ass getting banned. Welcome to the Grammy, nigga.
Yep. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About It. I'm your host, Twist Johnson. So grab your drinks and your substance, or stay sober-minded, if you will. And if you're feeling the vibe, like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at TwistJohnson_. That's TWISTJOHNSON_. You can also follow the show Clips on Facebook. Let's Talk About It, and Instagram. Let's_talk 2025. Today I know you see we got this handsome gentleman in the corner, but before we even get with him, let's do the current events that nobody asked for. Today we're gonna talk about this book. This book is on sale for relationships outside. Yes. This book is called Redeeming Relationships. It's how to resolve 10 common conflicts and you can land reduced of the frequencies. Yes. This book was published by Marty Trammell, PhD, and Rich Rollins, men. So you can find this book at Amazon, or you can find it inside of Barnes and Nobles. It's a great book. I've had the pleasure of taking a stab at it, just reading the back, read like the first 2 or 3 chapters. It's not going to work for everybody, but it's going to work for somebody. And it takes a dive into relationships, into like the more religious side, and how you can tie into God in your relationships. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, if you can see it, I'm sorry. You can see it right there. It's Redeeming Relationships. With that being said, we're going to introduce our boy, Master of Ceremonies today. This is an opportunity, nostalgic moment for me. So, introduce yourself, say your name, where you're from, give your handle if you will, and then we'll do the pour on pour up and start the show.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Stage name is Clipsmoke. Gabriel. Knew Tyreek for a very long time. We went to high school together, so I love that dude. I grew up in New York, moved to Jersey, and I make beats and films and do all types of media stuff. And I'm proud to be here, bro. Thank you for having me.
Yes,
if you want to get at me on Instagram, you could. It's a CLIPSM0K3. So, yeah, that's it.
It's all good. I mean, like he said, I did shoot a solo episode just promoting the docu-series, just like basically like in a short small segment. But I also was just talking about our relationship growing up in Manhattan and Harlem, going to high school together, Brandeis, and just talking
Dope
about
stuff.
like, what it was to be young in the early 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. So now that we got you here, we could talk about some stuff in the beginning days, and then we're gonna transition. Like I told you guys before, the documentary is called Wonderdreams, and it's produced by Clipsmoke and
Yes, sir.
UPC Films. And
Yes.
it takes a journey of this far of what it looks like for Clip as a producer, an artist, a creator, content creator, and it dives deep into interviews and like content and people are having conversations of what it is to rub elbows with this gentleman.
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of meeting Gabriel Rivera. Now, Gabriel Rivera, Clip Smoke, they are the same person, one and the same, but they definitely have two different entities. So let's get into
Wow.
Gabriel Rivera. Let's get into him first.
Sure.
Who is this gentleman? And at a young age, you started creating content, and this is way before the content that we know of what it is today in the internet. This is before we really had like the internet to have it so broad. You were able to put young gentlemen, including yourself, just with a camera on a global scale using the baby internet. So you started this journey called SAK, and
Yeah.
I let the fans, the supporters know that it was stupid ass kids. What made you start that? What age did you start it? And tell me like where your headspace was when you thought about that.
Well, first and foremost, I gotta say the question is such a fire question, bro. Like, thank you for giving me the opportunity to answer these type of things. So, I've always had access to cameras since I was little. You know what I'm saying? Like, my dad didn't really let me do shit, but he did let me have and use his gadgets all the time, just because I probably would leave him alone when I would use them.
Hmm.
So I started filming stupid things since I was young because I was bored. I was, the imagination when you're a kid is crazy, and I was just being a kid, really. And I was funny. I made people laugh, but also pissed a lot of people off at the same time. Of course, being honest, the MTV. I was young, and that shit was a big influence for me. Like, I remember like all the shit that you see going on now on YouTube and stuff like that that's like really viral. It
Right.
kind of they used to do that like through MTV pre-film segments and stuff like that, and
Hmm.
there used to be a lot of live pranks going on, and I just like bothering people and hitting cameras. But the as for the sax stuff, bro, I don't know. Like, I was just like wanted to have fun and didn't know where to put my energy, and me and my friends just used to go to Kmart and cause havoc with the cameras, and that's how it really started. I used to live in Staten Island, then I moved to the city and landed in Brandeis, where my brain was just on a different level because I was like developing skills and developing learning skills. I learned the music, I learned the video editing software. So I was like, I could make this a cool DVD, and I had cool ass friends like you, a few select others from over there that, for some odd reason, though, like listen to what I asked them to do and shit, even if it was dumb, fucked up shit.
Right. Right.
I
I did
think,
touch on that.
yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things, that we were just young and people, I guess, wanted to fit in and shit. But I think they also saw what I was capable of. Like, they saw like I wasn't even doing DVDs. I was doing something called a video CD, and people were
Right.
able to watch it on their DVD players. So like they probably saw that and they were like, "Wow, this is cool." But I don't know. It was really born just from word of mouth. The energy, bro.
Right. Yes.
It was
Right.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
it's
I touched on it like because, like I said, I did a mini segment like introducing
yeah,
it to this one. So this is part two, but part one of Gabriel Rivera and Clips
yeah,
Smoke. So like,
yeah,
I wanted to say like for me, like back in those days, this is the early 2000s. We didn't have streaming platforms. YouTube was still just coming of age. Like it was a baby, and I didn't know where you were placing the content. I just knew that it would be placed on the internet. People did listen to you, myself included. You were very persuasive in your ways, um,
yeah. No,
and you was a great
mm.
motivator at a young age. I don't want to take too much time on the sack, but it's something that I named the segment that I did, um, "Stupid Ass Kids: A Legacy Unauthorized." This is because I felt like at that time, being young individuals, it was an outlet for us not to get in trouble, but
yeah.
cause some trouble in a positive way. We were just trying to have some fun. Yeah, go ahead.
I could tell you the truth. If Unless you want me to let you finish what you're saying. I don't mean to be rude. It's just
Yeah,
popped in
no,
my head
no.
right now.
It's
Like, you know,
it's
when you think about like the thing you should have said, like in the moment, this is what I'm gonna do now because this is the perfect answer.
okay.
Okay, the perfect answer is that I'm a computer nerd. Ever since Gabriel Rivera was a computer nerd. Okay,
Okay.
Gabriel Rivera sucked in school. In junior high school, he didn't get good grades. Nowhere he didn't get good grades. But Gabriel Rivera was a fucking nerd with computers and systems and things like that. So I would be on chat boards. I would be on forums at a young age, 14, 15, not doing nothing stupid, just learning, chatting with people that know about all types of technical stuff. So I came across a lot of forums and websites where there was a lot of kids my age doing the same thing with access to cameras, and they were uploading clips. Like before YouTube was a thing, there was forums and there was like community forums where people would just upload videos, and they created a contest, and it was a list of 10 to 20 things, and it was a point based system, and you would win money in the end, first place, second place, third place, and it was all stunts and pranks and stuff like that. And
Mm.
this was before I went to the high school and everything. So I guess that's really where all that dumb stuff stems from, because when I got to school, I kind of created the same energy that I had there, which was just a bunch of, really, to be honest, kind of degenerates getting together and just, you know. But yeah, I definitely was a very persuasive dude.
Yeah, you was.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you were.
And I'm going to be honest with you. It's
Hmm.
insanity how I had that so at such a young age.
I
You
mean,
know what I'm
it's
saying?
it's yeah, it's so long ago. I can't remember exactly the things that you would say, but like
But
you have a warming personality. You have an approachable character. That's just always been you, and you're funny. Like no one's probably going to see this at this moment that you're funny because you know
nah. It's
serious tip.
just I know exactly. I know exactly how I miss those days. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
I
I
miss
feel
those
like
days because it's like this freedom that can't be matched or whatever.
right.
You know what
I
I'm
feel
saying?
like the finishing thought that I was gonna say before you cleared up like more in depth of where it
Sorry.
came from. You good? Don't worry about it. I was just gonna say like you were keeping kids from like the uptown or like the Brooklyn or Queens areas. You keeping us out of trouble in a way. Like we could have been on a block, you know, trying to like keep up with what was going on those areas and like just trying to what they call drill today or trying back then we called it juking. We probably would have been like in another situation, but coming down
Yeah,
to like Midtown Manhattan and just creating content for like just laughs and giggles. It kind of saves people's lives for the moment, for the minute.
that's
Um,
dope.
it did. So
I never thought about it that way, but I
yeah, like
understand it 100%.
so I was touching base on it a little bit. I did shout out to Beltron Cacho. I got to
That's
speak with
my
him
yeah.
like a
That
few months
you
back.
introduced me
Not
to
recently.
him. You
Huh?
introduced me to him. You introduced me to
Yeah,
him.
Beltron.
The
Beltron
natural, the natural comedian. He was
Beltron
born to be
Cacho.
that. He was born to be a hilarious ass comedian.
Right.
He's
Shout out
funny
to
as hell.
him.
Shout
I
out to him. Yeah,
I gotta get us connected again. We did speak 2 months ago, and I did tell him that I was always in connect, and I was always just like following like your journey. He's not even here anymore, but he's also a former SAC member as well. But I
what
was
you mean he's
telling
not
him
here anymore?
like he's not like in the cities. He's not in the
Oh, I
states.
got you. I got you. I got you. My
Not yeah. Let me clear that up.
bad.
Um, I'll try to contact him. Facebook's like the yellow pages today, but
Yeah, I know.
um
That's crazy.
when I was talking to him, he was just saying that like even on his side, it was just like it were moments to where like we were downtown with you, where instead of being in our elements, where the kids were thinking of ways instead of trying to create content to make someone laugh, they were thinking of ways to commit crimes, and
Wow,
like
that's true though.
just be delinquent. So like for me, that's how I was feeling. I touched on that. It was like you didn't know that like just the nerd in you was like keeping us from trying to portray the gangster in
It's
us.
true though, and we wasn't even like smoking bud or nothing like that
Yeah.
either. Like
Mm-mm.
speak on that, right? We wasn't even doing none of that shit, right?
Right. And I was smoking weed at the time, but I knew
Yeah,
that
but
if, yeah,
like you know that like my brother and his friends, I never hung out with them, but they smoked weed all the fucking time when I
right.
was young. But we wasn't even like that on that type of shit. We really just remember we would go to Central Park a lot and
So
just
Central
fucking
Park.
chill and just think about dumb stuff and manifest ideas. The thing is this, right? The thing is this, like when I was that age and even before that, I just understood like the people, at least in that time, I don't know.
Mhm.
I felt like the people who got famous broke rules and shit like that, and they always did things that are not, normal, unorthodox stuff.
Mhm.
And also too, I just seen that there was a big market for shock value stuff, and people used to buy those DVDs. There was a few
Right.
companies doing stuff at the time. It was something called Bum Fights, right?
I remember bum fights.
At the time it was Bum Fights, and it was like a bunch of things like that. Some shit called In Decline, a bunch of weird DVDs, and I was like, wow, it's not all like people getting hurt all the time, but it's like written sketches that are like dark and stuff, and it was just working. But yeah, bro, we wasn't troublemakers. We
No.
maybe did things to piss teachers off and shit like that, but that's a whole nother story. Cause,
Right.
yo, we had the support of the school though, didn't
I
we?
touched on that
Didn't
too. I
SAC
wanted you
have
to
the
get into
support
that.
of the school
Yes.
though?
Yes,
Like
because
I wasn't a cool dude.
I said,
Yeah.
like I was talking about, I was like, let when Clipsmoke comes up, I'm gonna let him touch on it so you don't feel like I'm overselling it and then it's undersold. Is that like
Nah, it was
I
insane.
was I had a different popularity until I became a SAC member, and then it brought a different popularity to where teachers were
I don't
like kind of
believe that
like
shit.
like bumping like, and it was great. Like
No,
I
the
was like,
teachers. Some of
what
the
was your
teachers were in
experience?
on it.
Right, like the teachers were in on it, like the
Nah, I don't
like
know.
even
It's
lunch
just
people. Like I was getting extra
it's.
lunch, pretty good. Like yo, if you do that bike trick I told you to do, like yo, remember, like
Nah,
so
nah, nah. You stupid.
it definitely brought like a different light. Fame. You mentioned that. That's a key word. Um, we weren't famous, but we were kind of catching algorithm on our own right. You touched on it a little bit, because the docu series is more geared towards like what your journey is now. So SAC was a part of just like a moment in your life that shaped you into the man that you are today. Before we end the conversation of SAC, we have to touch on every situation has a departure. Either it
Yeah,
separates or
yeah,
some grace.
yeah.
From what I was explaining is that kids get older, kids get egos, kids fall under like the peer pressures, the separation piece, people start to think different, personalities start to collide, egos start to happen. When it came to SAC, as it started to take off, I even myself, because I said even myself was included, it was to where we were getting a little bit of popularity. We
We had
definitely
the website.
you had that
Remember the
website,
website?
the
Me,
website
you, Beltran, and
mhm,
Thomas was on it.
on that,
Our picture
and
was on the front of the damn website.
mhm,
People were hitting that website crazy.
crazy,
People
crazy,
and it bypassed the security at the high school, so like you could just go to it without it being blocked.
right.
Yo, and we would have like clip of the week. You don't remember that, bro?
I remember
Clip of,
clip of the week. I was talking about clip of the week on the other episode. I
bro,
was
that's
like, yo, you
so
would have like
insane.
the clip of the week, sack member of the week.
I said you just
Beautiful.
threw me back, bro. You just threw me back.
I remember that was my first time feeling like important in a different way. Like I made it on TV because that was
Shit.
that was what I wanted to do.
You were hitting on a good point. Like people just grow up and mature and shit like that, and I just feel like maybe I got stuck in that shit too. Like I just wanted to do that shit forever. But you know why I wanted to do it forever? Because it's the most happiest I've ever felt in my life with
Mm,
my friends and with people close to me.
mm,
And then there was a really big issue that happened that kind of destroyed my friendships with certain
Okay,
people
that's where I was getting at.
in
Like,
the high
what was the
school.
fall from grace of sack?
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So there was two things that happened that kind of broke the whole sack thing up because it just got carried away at one
Okay.
point. All right, and I don't know if you know the truth, but it has to do with some crazy shit. But just let me tell you the first part. The
Okay.
first part is that my original close group of friends there, um, I got arrested with one of the dudes, you know what I'm saying, with a bunch of bud or whatever.
Okay.
This was when it was illegal in New York, and the cops just, they could do whatever they wanted. They found you with a couple of bud bags, you know what I'm saying? So like they took us both in. Um you know how it's random in the bookings and stuff like that. They take you
Yes.
whatever. They took him first, and then I got stuck for 4 days because it was a weekend and a holiday.
Oh yeah.
And so, whatever, I went through that whole process, blah, 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 got out. I went to the court. My parents were there. They cried. They thought I was going to be a drug dealer, blah, blah, blah. That wasn't me. I was just accompanying one of my friends. Anyway, I get out of there and I come to school, you know what I'm saying? And I come back and nobody's fucking talking to me. Everybody's acting weird as hell, including my close friend Mike. I won't say his last name. Like my closest friend Mike. I won't say his last name, and everybody who was really in my tight circle, pause, like Mike, maybe Eric, you know what I'm saying, and Ben. Remember Ben?
I remember Ben.
So all those people started acting mad strange towards me, and I was like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "This is how they treat you when you get arrested for some dumb shit." That's what I thought in my head. Then at the end of the school day, Mike came out. And I spoke to Mike outside of the school, and he said, I said, yo, what's going on? Like, I thought what the fuck is going on? Like, why did I do something wrong? And this nigga told me, and I'm sorry to say the N word. I'll rephrase that so you can
Okay.
edit it.
No,
And this dude told me that this other person named Harry, this is the one I got arrested with, that he went and told every single person that I snitched and I became an informant or something like that, and something to do with a snitching thing.
Wow.
And all these dudes stopped talking to me, and they stopped being friends with me, and they stopped, like, the whole spark was gone about making music and making funny ass tracks. Like, all that shit was gone after that. But it doesn't matter what I said, that it wasn't true, and then it's like, if honestly, if that was really true, I probably would be the one that left on the first day.
Absolutely.
Anyway, but besides that, yeah, that destroyed a lot of my close friendships. The last thing that destroyed my, I'm gonna just say this real quick because this is good material, but it's the truth. So in that whole time of me like losing my regular circle of friends and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Like my the circle of trust or whatever. I was in search of new relationships in different situations, like to fill those voids. So I became friends with these twins, and then and really close friends with this other crowd, and we ended up shooting, you know, like a X-rated tape, a OnlyFans type tape, and you know, I don't know why. I really don't know. Like, you remember you said that persuasion thing was strong,
Right. Yes.
I was like, what, 16,
Mm-hmm.
doing persuading people to do that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it was totally wrong, but I was young. We all went through with that shit.
You were young.
I didn't put it out. The chick that agreed to do all that stuff went back and she told a few chicks that she hangs out with, and you know, that's like wildfire. That's like throwing wood in a wildfire. It's just gonna go, and it spread, and you know, it turned into a big situation that I shouldn't have, and it destroyed her. All right, it destroyed her in school. My
I
fault.
remember the twins.
My dumbass ideas
I
destroyed.
remember the twins, and they had that fire ass older sister, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and then I remember them.
it destroyed everything, and then that's it.
Yeah,
Everything just fell apart. But people really still believe to this day that I snitched, and the it's just that kid who did that to me, right? That kid
Yes.
who did that to me, right? He went on with that story forever, and he took over my first circle of friends, and that's cool.
Mm, mm,
That dude messaged me a few years ago, and I
yes.
screen capped it. I got it in my documents. I will dig deep for that shit in the future if I ever have to.
Yes.
But he turned to Jesus, and he apologized for him lying about everything and him doing everything that he did to me. And he was like, you know, talking about that I'm with the Lord and all this stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that could damage a kid, especially like if you
It
have like
happens
a
though.
friend group. Yeah,
It
I feel
didn't
like
damage me though. I was just like, damn, these niggas, they'll do anything just to like try to take your place or get the attention that
right.
they're not getting.
Right. I mean, for me, I didn't know that information. That's actually exclusive information. Looking back at it, I just knew that you were growing up. We all were growing up. Um, we got to a space to
There's a lot
where
of stuff going on in family
right.
too, like that you
Yeah,
couldn't control.
we were doing this like what 13. Some of us were still 12 because some of us were freshmen, and then all the way up to almost 16 years old. Your voice is cracking at this point. We going through puberty. We getting into chicks. Like you definitely
I
started
mean,
getting more
I
deep in the
mean,
music.
listen,
Yeah,
listen. I didn't finish high school. Okay, all of y'all kept moving on and getting high grades. Well, not high grades, but like just passing, and I
right.
was just failing everything. And I didn't care as much as y'all. And I don't know why I didn't care as much, but I definitely always felt in my gut that I was gonna be something more than like what my dad wanted me to be, like go to high school, go be a doctor. That was just in my head, but he was just wishing for the best. And half of the battle is understanding those things. But there's
Mm,
also ways to talk, you know what I'm saying, and express those feelings. But I just always wanted to be a star. My faith in myself was unmatchable. I don't know how to ever tap into that type of energy that I had where I just felt like I was fucking unstoppable and I was gonna be something, and no matter what, I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep learning. I'm gonna keep, filling my brain up with all this knowledge of things. And I got really good at what I did. The beats got way better,
mhm.
but it was a passion. Like I wouldn't go to school. I would wake up every day and go to the basement in the studio and just be there
Right.
all day creating. It was whack at the beginning, but then it got better and better. I sold my first beat when I was 16 for $500. Imagine you 16 or 15 and you got $500 back in the day. That bought you a lot of shit.
But you felt like a millionaire. I was like
You know
five
what
hundred
I
dollars.
did?
That was 5,000. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but with that money, I fucking spend it all on my first big like digital piano that connects to the computer.
Right.
And after that, I was able to make my own melodies, and it was over
Mm-hmm.
after that. Like that's
Right, I touched on that. But now if ladies and gentlemen, we're getting into that was Gabriel
my
Rivera.
bad, my bad. Yeah,
No, no, stop. This is great. This is unscripted. I'm not
this
even
is
reading
the
questions
this is the first official interview I've ever had with real dope ass questions, bro.
because it's nostalgic. I don't have any
Facts.
script. We're just shooting a gift because this is like a relationship that we both were on a journey to where it's like now we're here and it
Facts.
now people can see us. So leaving SAK, we're transitioning to Clipsmoke. Um, where did that name come from?
I was young and dumb, and I'm just like, yo, when in certain guns, when they like shoot it, the smoke comes out of like the barrel and the clip. You know what I'm saying? Because it goes through both ends. I was like, clip smoke, ha ha ha. Everybody thinks it's about weed, but I never smoked weed till I was like 18 or 17.
Hmm. I didn't know what the. I was like, all right, Clipsmoke. I'm like, this is different because I never knew you to have a stage name.
Yo, my
And
names before that was trash, bro.
right, I mean,
They were
mine's too.
trash.
Think of T Bits.
T Bits. Yo, I
T
remember
Bits.
that.
Like
T
who did it?
Bits.
Like it was a laughing stock. I had to change it over and over, and then like I
Nah, but
finally learned a twist.
people be having the flow. You had the flow. and
Oh
you
yeah.
had the song ideas and all that stuff.
Speaking of that,
So
like now that we know the clip song spot, we were jumping into the transition of music. I remember going into the basement and you had equipment. You had an actual own room just build up your homemade
the
booth,
booth,
the equipment, and like
yo,
everyone could just go down there and chill and make
yep,
magic. Like I told everyone, you
yep.
actually produced my first mixtape
I
along with
remember.
T Hooks, who's a beat maker today now himself, and we were down there just working. And I actually got to play that mixtape in a party. At that
Wow.
time, like I felt like I
I
was a
remember
shit.
that shit.
Like,
Nah, but that's
oh
just
yeah,
fire.
it was. And,
Yeah, it showed in the shit you were saying too. You was
mhm.
like, yo, you had. It was exciting doing that
And
shit.
at that moment, I only knew you as like a beat maker, a content creator. But then you hopped on a song with me, and it wasn't until then I actually realized that you're actually an artist as well, and
Wow.
you spit fire, fire. Like and not even just that is this then I'm starting to meet this is why I start like transitioning from meeting SAC members and high schoolers to I'm meeting people who you work with as artists. At that
Yeah,
time, I
yeah,
believe this is your boy Authentic.
yeah.
I forget the other Spanish guy's name, but he was pretty cool as well.
Young
And
June.
you Young June, you were making songs with them. I remember coming in the studio one day, you guys are remixing and bring them out. I got jealous because I was like, I want, I want to be on that shit. 'Cause that's one of my favorite songs, but it's like, wasn't no room. Um, you start to take music seriously. You start to take engineering seriously. Me and you know, as life goes, everyone, after high school has to figure it out. It's
Yeah,
when
man.
I started to come across, and I started seeing you on competitions for beats.
Yeah.
And I remember showing it off like, yo, that's my boy. But then everybody who already knew you from the DVDs, like, yo, that's Gabriel. Yo, that's Gabriel.
Yeah.
I was excited to see it. Like, what made you get into beat battles?
Yo, I gotta be honest. I gotta shout them out. Is this my producer friends supply and demand? Um, my boy Charlie Shank and Joy Scissorhands. They did a battle.
Mm,
And for a while, they kept telling me, you got to do a battle. And I was like, fuck that. I'm not good enough because I just didn't think that. My self esteem, yo, that's the problem. My self esteem was always fucking shitty, but my
mm,
ambition was high. It was a weird balance, but I always just kept going. But my self esteem was caca.
mm.
So, and then, they were like, it cost 500. And I was like, so whatever. I just did it.
Right.
I put my hard earned money together at that time when I was like 17. That's when I won my first one or six. I forgot. I think 17. $500, and I won out of like 50 producers, like first
Mm,
place. And then if that's not a fucking like how you call it, if that's not a like affirmation right there, like just happening in front of your face out of
mm.
50, then I was like, all right, damn, I am that good.
I
you know
felt like it was. I mean,
so
me being a friend and also a supporter, watching those clips, because it got to where I was actually binge watching the battles.
yeah,
I was not surprised because I've watched you sit in that basement. It was times that I was walking by just trying to get you to come outside. You're like, you could come in, but I'm doing this. So I already saw where it was
damn,
going. To me is that like I wasn't surprised. I
I
was just
literally
happy.
just stood stuck in that thing though.
Right. I was happy to see you do it. You were doing it for a while, so I was
Yeah,
wondering like what was the backstory about it. Shout out to them gentlemen who gave you that positive
yeah,
affirmation and that
yeah,
encouragement, motivation you needed because you were chewing heads off. And shout out to them guys
yeah,
who were part of those competitions because they had
yeah.
some great material itself. That's not easy to do.
Nah,
Um
it's hell no, it's not easy to
there's
do.
a lot of crowd. You got people judging your art.
Every time I go up there, it feels like
Hmm.
I'm about to have a panic attack for like 2 minutes, and then it goes away when you hear the crowd reaction. That's the best part.
But the beat thing, going into those beats because you make great beats. And that's not undersold, not because we friends. Like, you make great beats. You got to rub elbows with some producers that's known in the
Yeah,
industry.
yeah,
Got
yeah.
to work with music artists. Like, what is that feeling? Going from practicing on your friends to actually working with individuals that's in the industry. How does that feeling feel? Like, is it a warm feeling like I made it? Or is to where is that like I'm
It's,
still going somewhere?
I mean, it's 50-50. You know what I mean? It feels great, but you can't never get complacent because the only thing about this industry, business, the music thing, a lot of things are like this, but a lot with music is like when you think you're doing enough, you're not. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm,
when you think you're doing everything you can, unfortunately, you're not. So like,
mm,
I feel like when you're the transition from what I was doing before to now is like also too, it's great when you get dope situations that come out good. The song comes out good. The artist is cooperating. Everything is dope. I've made records with Bun B, Run DMC, people that I loved listening to growing up, and people who surprise me. They get in the booth and they be killing it. And I'm like, oh shit, they still got it. Like OD, you know what I'm saying?
mhm,
Um, it's it's bittersweet because it's their moments. You know what I'm saying? You're in the studio working on the stuff and you're enjoying the shit out of it. And a person like me, like almost like in my documentary that you've seen, like it's kind of like a mental health documentary as well, because you can just tell that I'm just never satisfied, and being never satisfied alters your attitude a lot
mm,
when you're just yeah, when you're just like constantly just wanting shit to turn out a certain way, and that's all you think about. I think that's what happened to me. So like that stopped me from getting extremely far in the industry, but it
mm.
has got me far enough to have credentials and stuff like that. But I think just from where I come from, it has kind of hindered my experience in the industry. But everything the industry has showed me has been fugazi. Even with people that are famous and stuff like that. Like,
You know, a lot
I'll
of
get.
people say that. A lot of
Can I
people.
give you one example? Because
Yeah, of course.
I'm not afraid to speak about it because I don't. People just shouldn't be afraid to speak about things that happen to them.
Go for
Like,
it.
so I moved to Atlanta for 3 months with one of my artists because he was about to get signed to a person named Bone Crusher.
I remember Bone Crusher. Shout out to Bone.
Bro,
No
yeah, I'm
matter what you're
sorry.
about to say, you probably could say some shit.
It
But go
doesn't
ahead.
matter.
It's your story.
Nah,
It's your
long
story.
story short, he sold one of my beats to another artist in New Jersey, and like behind my back, and just kept all the money for himself. I don't know how much he sold it for, but he sold him the whole beat and everything. And it's just like, you know, it's just weird practices. So like that's like a sour situation for me. And when
You
I
said the
tried to
artist or Bone Crusher sold it?
Bone Crusher sold it.
Oh, he sold it. Oh.
Yeah. He was like, yo, I want to make some music. We were in the studio and he was like, play me some shits. And then he picked like one or two beats that he really liked. And I was excited as fuck because I'm like, damn, I'm actually going to make a song
Right,
with
this
Bone
is Bone
Crusher.
Crusher.
And I look up to the nigga too because he's a funny ass nigga. Like he sings a song, I ain't never scared. That's a funny ass
Yeah.
song. It's a dope ass. Yeah, that's my type of energy. Funny shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
So looking up to the dude, and then um, I'm gonna get into detail real quick.
Do
So
it.
I play some beats. He picks a few. Um, they're supposed to be for him to help write songs for the artist, my artist that he was signing. You know what I'm saying? That he really liked, and he just kept doing weird shit with the songs. He was like, "Oh, this is for my song. This is gonna be a skateboard song," and he like for my son. And I was like, "That's cool." That was I didn't care about that one. I was like, "That's fine. It's your son, whatever." And
Mm-hmm.
then he never talked about one of the dopest beats I ever produced for a long time. Um, and I found out he sold it to somebody in New Jersey. And the only way I found out, the dude in New Jersey hit me up like, "Yo, man, thank you for that beat. That shit is fire. And I'm like, what beat?
Oh man. Oh man.
And he told me straight up because I knew him from somewhere, and he told me straight up like, "Oh, Bone sold it to me," and he told me how much he paid for it, and I was just like, for a dude that just moved to Atlanta, you could have gave me a little 200 or
Yeah,
something.
I'm sure I got some PCO.
But he made a nice amount of it. But besides that, he invited me to a studio to meet another platinum producer
Okay.
in Atlanta named L Rock.
Okay.
Cool ass dude. He produced for Janet Jackson, a bunch of R&B. Like, he's just a big deal. So my artist had an album with 10 songs on it. They picked about 6 songs from there, and they were like, "Yeah, we need you to replay these beats here." And I'm like, "Why? If the beats are already good?" And they were like, "We need you to re-record, like re-record everything, the track outs, the pianos, whatever you lay down on the beat." And I said, "Why?" And they wouldn't tell me why, but like in my head, I would flash back to when I would be reading the books, the law books on audio, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. And they basically wanted me to play out and remake the beat in the studios because they own the masters for anything that anybody plays or record in a studio. That's like the law, the music law. So they was just like quietly trying to just jack me for every single right that I had, thinking that I wouldn't know, what they really wanted to do. And I wasn't with that. So I just left. So that's like an industry example of like shit going left. The first industry example of shit going left, and it'll be the last one, is when I got offered my first deal to sign a contract with a label that was a subsidiary to Universal Records. That means that it's just under it and shit. And it was these 2 dudes that won America's Got Talent. They were 2 violin players. The name was called Nothing But Strings. They overheard me playing some beats in a studio in Brooklyn. They came in all crazy with 2 tuxedos on. And they were like, and they were like, "Yo, man, how much you want for this beat that I was playing? Some pop shit." And I was like, "Give me 500." And they was acting like it was a problem, but then they gave me the money. And then they were like, "We want to talk to you." So we went to this fucking high-rise restaurant in the city. A burger was like $80 or some shit like that. They was like showing off and shit. And then it's like they didn't want me to order any food until I signed it. I still ordered food before I signed it.
Right,
Give me a
fat boy, I
burger.
needed
Yeah,
10
you
piece.
bugging.
Get the fuck out of here. How am I
So,
supposed to operate with no food in my stomach?
so they kept trying to not let me read it. And they kept saying, "You don't have to read it because we're going to alter it to what we agree on today." And I'm like, "But at least let me see what was your intentions." So I just started looking at the shit. And I was young, you know what I mean? Right. And I was a little bit dumb, but I wasn't all the way dumb. So like, they wanted to own 100% of my library. So that means anything that I produced before I even was with them, anything from the beginning of time. Meaning like, even if I wanted to keep 10 beats or 20 beats to the side, depending on how they were trying to annex that, they would have to be like, it's too confusing. Like, you don't own all my shit before I work for you. You should just own everything I'm doing while I'm working for you.
Right.
But they wanted to do that. Then there was gonna be 2 contracts, a producer contract and an artist contract. And I said I didn't want to sign as an artist. You said you wanted me to sign as a producer. They were like, "Oh well, my wife's gonna be your trainer. She's gonna take you to the gym and all this shit." Like, he had his whole family on the contract to like included in my contract. So he was probably about to get like a huge lump sum, you know what I mean? Like, loan and use, I don't know what the fuck he was trying to do, but I just said no to that.
I'm glad you said no to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. There's a lot of weird things. Also, too, like just some personalities, bro. Like in the celebrity world, too. Like, I produced for Red Cafe Mano. I produced for Juicy J, Project Pat. I produced for a bunch of fucking people that were celebrities at the time. Cassidy, you know what I'm saying? Styles P. People that I love. The thing is, like, there's just a lot of personalities too that you ever sit back and be like, damn, how come I haven't heard this nigga make a song in a long time? And like, if you knew them personally, you would understand.
I think we've all felt like that. Like, damn, where he been? I
Yeah.
definitely do agree, and I feel like if you're in a New York scene, you run into these cats like naturally. Like I've ran into Red
Yeah.
Cafe in a bar. Like I've ran into Maynard at least
Yeah.
twice. Like
Yeah.
I've seen Cassidy on 125th, even though he's from Philly. Like I seen him on 125th inside the fried chicken spot on 25th. Um, I don't know like working professionally with them, but I know as a fan, like I got to say
Nah,
what's up
as a
or
fan
whatever.
is always the best.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's why there's certain that I think that's one of the things that being trying to be in the industry will ruin for you, just your experience as a fan. Because I look up
Like,
to every artist I want to work with. I always look up to all of them. You know what
mm-hmm.
I'm saying? And there's not all of them. There's just certain situations that you're in that you're just like, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
it is what it is. Everything is like that. Like shit changes. But I'll tell you this: I'm not I'm not fully satisfied where where like in the industry timeline with myself, but I'm definitely 100% satisfied with where my like intelligence, like how much my intelligence has improved over the time,
mhm,
especially self worth and like self love and shit like that. Because it's really all in your head and in your heart. You know what I
absolutely.
mean? So like, I just learning now how to really harness that power. I had to keep doing what I'm doing for the reason why I started doing it in the first place. Why did I start making beats? Because I want to hear them. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So I make all music for myself before I present it to the world. As long as I think that shit is dope or that shit makes my hair stand up, I know that I got something special. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So the beat battles brought the monster out of me. You know what I mean? The beat battles gave me the experience I needed to know what buttons I have to press to make the people react.
Mhm.
So with that being said, that's one of my strong suits. Beat battle beats, but I got everything, bro. I got all
I,
types.
I know you got everything, and I
But
touched on that. I'm glad that you cleared that up because, like, my thought process of it, from my perspective, was at a certain time, you lost the ambition of what it was, the fundamentals of doing it because it was fun, and we got
yeah,
older, and it started to
facts.
where it's that like it was more business. I remember when the DVDs was about to like you were actually going and about to go into a contract. And
Yeah,
it was more from this is no longer fun. This is we can actually make compensation. And
yeah,
then I'm watching you get into the beats, I'm watching you get into the production. And to hear you say that after all that time, it's what I already thought.
yeah.
You were getting hungry, but now that you got fed, I guess the food that they were giving you was not as tasteful as you thought it would be,
Nah,
even though you're full. So I say that to clear it up for the audience who don't understand sayings or like just philosophical ways. Is that like it came a point in time that like you wanted more and you
yeah,
got more, you seen more, but you forgot one thing: you forgot to have fun with it. And now that you're seasoned and you see what it is to be inside of these rooms, you did production, you did directing, you did artistry, you've become a content creator. You have a show right now, you
yeah,
have your own
yeah,
platform, and I'm glad to see that you're getting back to the essence. Like, it's me first, then it's for the world next. um I
yeah,
was
man.
going to get into it, but it seemed like you cleared it up. As far as why you made the documentary now, it's good for the mental health. But
Yeah, man.
when people make documentaries, usually it's in the beginning so they can watch like the transition of where they were, and then sometimes it's to where it's that they basically out the door. Which one is it for you?
Well, my ADD never let me finish that on time. Like, I started that documentary, I swear, 10 years ago or 10 or more years ago. And you can see, like, it goes in and out of it looking a little bit more modern and then looking a little bit more
Hmm.
old school. But I just, I wanted to complete that for myself. I rarely complete things that I want to start.
Hmm.
Even beats. If I make 3 beats today, Maybe I'll be lucky if one of them is completely looped, like, 3 verses and 3 hooks. Cause like I'll make the verse and the hook, but I will never completely format it so it could be ready to be heard in a 3 minute long thing, even though it's already ready to be copied and pasted. I don't know why I don't do it, but that's just me moving on and trying to start the next thing. But I lost
Speaks.
myself.
No, that's okay. Speaking of the next thing, what is the
Yeah.
next thing? Because we coming to a closing. Like I don't want to hold you too long, but what is the next thing for Clipsmoke?
So here's the next thing, right? Follow me on Instagram, UPC_radio. All right. We're gonna we do live shows on Instagram. We interview producers and artists and creatives alike. You know what I'm saying? We do beat battles. I have a live event that happens once a month in Brooklyn at a bar called Secret Pour. It's really dope. It's the UPC, but people go there and they cipher beats. So 10 minutes each producer, and you just hear beats. You can network, meet producers, and things like that. And that's what we got going on. We're about to open a new studio space. Shout out to my partner Larry Legend in the building. You already know what it is. He does artwork. All the artwork you see on the merch we sell, he does it. Just follow UPC_radio and on Instagram, UPC Music Group.
Amen. For me, it's closer to home, but for other people who don't know you, what do you expect them to get out of this documentary?
The documentary, for people who don't know me, I just want them to see somebody chasing their dreams,
Mm.
because it's not the same after you have kids or anything like that. I was able to do all of that because I had all the time in the world. And in a world where relationships are mad rocky, like for example, like me and my dad shit was mad rocky, but he's been giving me the opportunity to really do what I want all this whole fucking time when you really think about it. So, you learn to empathize and sympathize with people's choices and shit like that too. But
Mm.
for that documentary, people will watch it and be like, man, that's a guy who's chasing his dreams, and it doesn't matter how many times he fell or there were situations that knocked him down, he finds an annoying ass way to like pick himself up or something to do to pick himself up. You know what I mean? That's all.
Absolutely.
Because that's what I be doing, just picking myself up like everybody does, like Twist Johnson does.
You feel
You know what I'm
me?
saying?
Especially when I fell off that clip in the shopping cart. Yeah.
Yo,
We
crazy fuck.
did it so backwards. But before we end this, like I want to say it was a great opportunity to actually shoot the gift with you. Like we've been friends for a few years. I know a few people who've made it to actually rub like elbows with people in the industry, and for someone that I know comes from just doing this for fun, just trying to navigate through the city. Like I'm proud of you, and
I
I don't know
appreciate
where your
that.
journey's gonna go, but I'm happy to see it because I know where you came from and I know what you're capable of. And I feel like just to touch on what you saying, I've always saw you start things and you get these great ideas and you execute them, but you don't see them to the end
Yeah,
because your mind is
facts.
always racing. But the thing
Facts.
about it is that at the end of the day, at least you learned the skill and you've grown into it. So I don't feel like it's over. I feel like the documentary is just like a testimony of what you've done this far, and you're just never satisfied. It's okay for people to be
Man,
like
that's
that out
so
there,
true. That's
and
so
it's
damn true.
okay not to be satisfied. We're not dead, you know. I think people get stuck into the idea of you gotta stay in a box to where it's like
Yeah,
where they say go to school, get a career. Okay, but go to school and get a career. I might start off as a doctor, but I might start to feel like, hey, I want to be a therapist. Or I might start
exactly.
out selling sneakers, but then I might want to just be a dentist. Like
Exactly.
nothing ever stays the same, especially in life. But with a person that's very ambitious as yourself, the sky is always going to be the limit, and it doesn't matter. So, with that being said, we didn't even get to do the pour out, pour up. So, I would love for you to do the pleasure of doing that. This episode
Uh,
is okay because we did it backwards. I got carried away, but
my bad.
So yeah, who you want to pour out? Who you want to pour up to?
Well, I would like to pour out for my partner's dad who recently passed away, Pep. You know what I'm saying? He's having an amazing time in heaven. We know this for sure. He was a comedian. He roasted everybody, and he was a good person. So rest in peace to him.
Pour out for him.
Pour out.
Yeah. You got anything you want to say in closing before I wrap us out?
I appreciate you for having me, brother. And I gotta tell you, I've been having a lot of aha moments and epiphanies lately. So I'm just gonna do this right now. I apologize if I ever was an asshole to you. I
To me?
Yeah.
I
In my
mean,
whole
we.
life. In my whole life, nigga. Nah. Don't justify nothing. Just
I'm not
listen,
gonna
bro.
justify.
I
I
had
mean,
an epiphany.
like all friends, we've had our differences. I
It's a
mean, just in
beautiful
like,
thing though.
but
When
we okay. We've been friends all this time.
Nah, of
I
course,
forgave
of
you a long
course.
time ago. We were young,
That's my
but
point though, you know? Like,
I'll forgive you,
not necessary. Nobody's responsible for anything that nobody didn't do.
and I
So I
appreciate
apologize for my anger and all that shit too, because I know I was annoying as fuck.
you.
You know what I mean?
We
But
all
you
were,
already
though. We
know.
were.
Yeah.
But no, on the air, off the air, like if
Facts.
you wasn't somebody that was a friend of mine, like I wouldn't even entertain it. We all have our own personalities and stuff, but you always been a great, humble dude, and for you to take accountability and acknowledge where you would go wrong and stuff, that's cool. But it's not for you to keep forgiving. Like we
Of
gotta
course.
forgive too. So I'm sorry too, because I know I had a lot of ways where it's like I'm short and like I'm closed minded. I could be a dick as well. So we say sorry here on the
You
air,
already
but
know.
nigga, I love
You
you. And you
already
stay
know.
on.
Love you too, bro. Thank you
Um,
for having me.
yeah, so with that being said, that concludes another episode of Let's Talk About It. You can tune in every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You find me on Instagram, Twist Johnson underscope. That's TWISTJOHNSON underscope. And with that being said, I'll see y'all when I see ya.